Hey everybody. So making a video because I went to Suzhou this weekend. Suzhou is one of the places known as paradise or heaven on earth, and it's up to the north of Shanghai, northwest. I was planning on doing the apartment video today, but it's raining really bad, like really hard, and I didn't have my umbrella today because I washed my bag, so I didn't bother to carry my umbrella because my bag was wet. And anyway, just got home. So I went to Suzhou this weekend. I was planning to go for the whole weekend because we had a 3-day weekend for Mid-Autumn Festival, but didn't end up going because stuff got shorted out, and it was a weird weekend. That was just took Saturday to relax, and then Saturday night at like midnight, I was watching the Futurama movie, Bender's Big Score, which is awesome, by the way. Everything I'd waited for. Loved it. Really funny. And I'm watching the movie, and like it's in the dark, and the TV's not even on, and the TV is like right there, and it's plugged into that power cord. Well, it would have been that power cord. It's plugged into a different one, and so I'm watching it like just sitting where I am now on my laptop because I don't have a DVD player yet, and all of a sudden I hear and right around the surge protector is this ball of like crackling blue electricity that was there for about 2 seconds. No more electricity at all. Ball disappears, fuse is blown. It's like midnight, and this is China. It's not like you flip the fuse back on. It's like somewhere there's a wire that was burned out. So didn't know how to change the fuse. I knew the box was outside, and there's like an up and down handle to turn the power on and off. It's not a fuse, it's just an on-off switch. And there were fuses around it, like big porcelain ones with thick wires for the fuse, not like a little skinny one. But I didn't know which apartment mine belonged to because it was outside. Luckily I had a flashlight. Thanks, Mom, for making me bring multiple flashlights. So that did not turn out well. So I just went to bed and called my landlord in the morning. So Sunday I spent most of the morning cleaning up because I had no electricity, so I mopped and tidied, and then eventually he got there. And my landlord is awesome. His name's Peter Lee. He speaks excellent English. The guy's brilliant. He taught himself English because he wanted to go into business and he thought it would be a good idea. So apparently as a kid he'd like hang out on Suzhou Road, which is like the big bookstore teacher shop area. Hung out there and taught himself English, and the guy's just great. He's helped out with so much already. So he shows up and he fixes it for me, and he's like, yeah, no problem. I'm like, I'm so sorry you had to come all this way. He's like, no, it's my job. And so like an hour later I plug in my laptop and all the electricity goes again. This time there wasn't like a big electrical show, but the electricity goes out. So I call him again, and he rushes over, like another hour or so, and he's like, oh, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah, the electricity's out. He's like, oh, I thought you had like another mishap with electricity that you could see and burning out power strips, because the power strip was charred after the electricity went off, and the power strip was very old, so apparently that's what went. So everything was fine. He showed me how to fix it, and he fixed it for me and showed me how to replace the fuses, and they are these crazy big porcelain pieces with this really thick wire that runs along it. So he took off again. Again, he's really helpful. And then by then my Sunday was pretty shot. Basically, we had just gone to Suzhou to stay in a youth hostel and spend money. So Monday, my last day off, I finally took off. Took me about 2.5 or 3 hours to get there, which sucks because it's about a 45-minute trip. But I live way in the south of Shanghai, so I basically had to ride the subway up north, which is nice because where I live, even though I'm way down south, there is Line 1, which goes from the south to the north, and it's really cool because it basically connects me to everywhere I want to be. Like People's Square, Suzhou, the Bund, well, People's Square is next to the Bund, the northern station, which is the main station, like, connects to all that, so Line 1 is great. So I rode Line 1 up, took about half an hour, cost 4 kwai, which is like 60 or 70 cents. Then I went to hop a train to Suzhou, and they're supposed to run every hour, but this one only ran either the next one was full or just wasn't running that often because I had to wait for an hour and 15 minutes, so that was a while, especially because I had to figure out where to buy tickets first, and it was hectic. Um, the trip to Suzhou is only about 45 minutes, and the ticket 15 kwai, which is about $1.20. 45-minute drive or ride on the train, but it was super uncomfortable. Like, you were 3 people to a seat, sitting like shoulder to shoulder, and then there's someone sitting across from you facing you, and your legs are like interwoven with each other's almost. You know, you're knee to knee or like alternating legs. And so we get there. Oh, actually, sitting at the train station waiting while we were waiting for the train to leave, sitting in our seats, guard came over and gave me a really hard time. It was fairly playful. He was kind of making fun of me, kind of playing, and I didn't mind that much at the time. Later on, when I got really exhausted and it was a long, tiring day, I was a little aggravated by it, but yeah, it was funny. He was giving me a hard time, and everyone was laughing, and everyone had a good laugh, kind of. But at the same time, he also made sure I had my passport, because he was like, if the police stop you, you're in trouble, make sure you have it. So it was good, if frustrating. Just checking if my favorite show is on. Just trying to get a routine. I'll show you guys when it comes on. It's awesome. But Suzhou, yeah. So finally got out there. Got out there early afternoon, and it took me a little while to find the street I was looking for. But in the process, I got to walk through all these little neighborhoods, and it was nice. And I didn't realize how like closed in I feel in Shanghai, because as soon as I got out, like on the train, as soon as we got outside the city into open space, I felt like it just decompressed a little bit. So it was really nice to get out there. Living in Shanghai, living in a big city can kind of get in on you a bit. There's people everywhere. You're always hearing people and smelling people, and there's never space. I can deal with this. Just, you know, once I got out of town, it just felt better. And then Suzhou's beautiful. You know, I walked around and saw some canals and walked through tiny little alleys and saw town, like just houses and what it's like to live there. That was cool. And I found the main street I was looking for. I planned to try and hit 2 gardens: the Humble Administrator's Garden, which is huge, and then a smaller Lion's Pavilion or something like that garden right around the corner. And then I was going to try and get over to the Chinese Opera Museum, because as I've like watched TV here and read more, I've been gradually getting more and more fascinated by Chinese opera. Very interesting. On the way there, like, I found the main street that has all that stuff. Really cool street. Lots of like little vendor stalls and hole in the wall shops and stuff that you don't see in Shanghai as much. So I get in there, and I pass the Suzhou Museum, and I'm like, oh, I'll totally go check that out. So I go in, and it's free, and that was nice. And they have relics from like Neolithic era through the Shang Dynasty, so like 1000, 2000 BC, stuff from that all the way up through modern day. And so I ended up spending 3 hours in there. And I have tons of pictures. I'll probably start a Flickr account, because if I put them all up on the blog, it'll be overwhelming. And so eventually they're shooing me out, because there's this like traditional style examples of what things looked like in the Ming Dynasty attached to it. And so they shooed me out of there. And I was like, oh, I guess it's closed. Let's see, closed at 5. I'll better go check out some gardens. It's dark soon. Looked in my little travel book. All the gardens closed at 5 or 5:30. So I could go to the biggest garden in Suzhou and have half an hour to run around it, or I could just walk around. So I walked around the street. Found another one of those Muslim restaurants. It was nice, because I walked by, and this little younger kid, like middle school kid, is out front stirring the pot. And he's like, as I walked by, he's like, hey, Lao Wai. And I was like, I was really hungry, so I was like, turned around, and he's like, hey, come eat. And I was like, yeah, what the hell? I'm hungry. He called out to me, oh, I'll go eat. Had a really yummy dish with tomatoes. I didn't realize how much I missed tomatoes till I got them. Really good. Yeah, and then started to go home, which is where everything went drastically downhill.